barbecue season. You start with a bag of charcoal, but take the real charcoal and not the briquette, because this is also what I learned. Briquette, I don't know how the situation in the Netherlands is, but in Germany, the briquettes are mainly produced in Poland because the additive you need, the glue, to have these charcoal powders stick together is forbidden in Germany. So what they do, they produce the charcoal, but the small particles, the waste product from the charcoal production and packing process is exported then to Poland. There they produce the briquette, and then they re-import it and so. But actually, finally, you burn it and you have it on your steak. Yeah. Anyway, this is maybe you're familiar with the company Viessmann. It's a quite big producer of also gas boilers and so on. And they have a joint venture with a Danish company, Minerva. And Minerva produced the first combined heat and power generator, which you can use to burn solid organic material with a Stirling engine. So that means that you have a combustion process, and the hot air you primarily use with the Stirling engine to produce electricity. So on the Dutch market you can even buy something similar for gas, which you can put in your home. Whispergen is one product. So it looks like a conventional gas boiler, but it produces energy, which is actually much more efficient than only because in the gas boiler you have this very high temperature to produce heat. But with these other units you have the same effect. You still have the hot water, but additionally you can produce 1 kilowatt hour electric energy per hour. So that's the idea, to make more, actually to use the energy effectively. And Viessmann already has this vision that they produce, let's say, these units to produce electricity and heat, hot water, and provide the fuel also by plantations of timber and trees. And if you combine that with the whole organic waste process, then it's fantastic, because we could reforest, let's say, the world and make a profit out of it and enhance the soil quality everywhere. Okay, now I want to bridge to the urban food production, so a little bit different ways. This is from a colleague from Brighton in England. They have also quite a big urban agriculture initiative there, and they calculated different scenarios and how we could modify, let's say, the urban space here in South England to agriculture, and also implement it to create continuous productive urban landscapes. So on, let's say, sealed grounds, you could, for example, create raised beds. That means that you just put, let's say, the agriculture on top of it. So otherwise you have to destroy the road or something like that, but you just can put it on top in principle, like a pottery garden. And so we also compared the production or construction cost. So here it's 200 pounds per square meter. The raised beds you can have for 50 euro per square meter, and uncontaminated field you can create for £0.5 per square meter. And then you can generate income from the food sales you generate on these areas. And So he compared that regarding local economies. And he said that every 10 pounds you spend with a local food initiative in the UK is worth 25 pounds for the local area. And so compared with the supermarket, we would just spend 14 pounds, so the less the income would less, and the whole effect on the, let's say, society would be, of course, also less neglectable. There was at the beginning one discussion about, or a statement from you about the green finger, because if you think about urban agriculture, it sounds all very good, but what about people who have no knowledge to do farming? In Cuba they said, okay, they start from scratch or teach the teacher initiative. This is of course one way that you provide courses and people really gain the skills, but there are also other possibilities, and I just heard, I think it's from Austria or Switzerland, and it's really a very smart way where they provided yields areas which are for rent, and they are not for rent only that you can get the plot and start planting there. So what you can also find in The Hague, for example, you can also apply for a small garden in the park and grow your things on 30 square meters. But what they do is that they have professional gardeners, or let's say people who know which crops go together in the right way, and they prepare everything. So they put the cucumbers, tomatoes, potatoes, everything there, prepare everything, and then you get the key. You have to pay for it, of course, but the amount of money you pay is much less than what you get actually finally out of it. So what you have to do finally is only to water the plants and pick the fruits. So this is of course a very smart way, because it offers another business for these people who have the know-how how to do it. They provide a service, they are getting paid for it, and you know that the project will be successful. So quite smart, and then if you think smart, you can even think about models by yourself, how things could be arranged in a way that you create multiple profits. Oops, wrong direction.
Sorry, where's that again?
Sorry?
It was in Switzerland, you said?
I'm not sure. I think in Austria or Switzerland it was.
But isn't the problem that you're not spreading the knowledge? Just one of the complaints about aid relief and everything is that you do something and then you go away without spreading the knowledge.
But you can do both, because I expect that in a society, depends on what society you have, this should be based on investigation, field research, then you can find out what is the desire of the people, or what do they want. And you can do both. You can spread the knowledge and people can do it by themselves, but if you have people who say, no, I really would like to grow my vegetable, I would like to take care of the garden, but I have no idea how to set it up in the right way. For them, it's a perfect, very good solution. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So before they are not able to grow their own tomato, you know, you can also go, let's say, to the town, to the garden market here, and also buy already, let's say, the small tomato plant, so you don't have to grow it from the seed.
Yeah.
So there's also, if you look here, you have these different kinds of services, but you can also buy the seed. So you can choose what you want.
But that is just a mix of both.
You can, yeah, could be. Depends on what could work there. Could be also a combination that you start, let's say, with a training center where the staff is who knows how to do it, and they train the people, and the people say, okay, I have a field here, but can you train me at home? So maybe in the first year, the second year, they will provide the service until the knowledge is developed that they do it by their own and start spreading the knowledge by themselves again. Now, these are examples from the urban farming project in Middleborough Road, where they really make the community happenings out of it, and it's really well accepted. If you look to Berlin, there's also, if you Google that, the Moritzplatz, there are also the Prinzessinnengärten, Princess Gardens. There's also a community urban farming project in Berlin, which is quite famous. But also photos, I haven't put them here yet, but there's also a Turkish family which just claimed public space, where the wall was. And they call it the tree house at the Berlin Wall. And so they remove every 2 months. They remove some parts of the sidewalk and extend their park. And it's somehow, it's not really legal, but it's accepted. So nobody. Yeah, and what they do is what we just discussed, that in principle research results and ideas are spread amongst the people and more action is stimulated by also these happenings. And also it shows some, this is maybe also interesting, there's also a book. Maybe give you the title of the book next time. What you see here is a quite helpful graph, because you have food spaces, you have eating food, you have food trading, you have food growing, then you have the social relevance, the spatial relevance, the economical relevance, and the environmental relevance, and then you have different, let's say, topics which can be assigned to these specific areas, so biodiversity, toxicity. So you think about criteria and things to address. It's quite helpful. So the handout you can have a look at it. Now, if you think about outlook for the future, then you can think about integrating food production in principle everywhere. What is interesting here in these initiatives, that they are still focusing on the hydroponic solutions. So what we have here is not based on real soil, but let's say more on substrate basis. But I would say, okay, go green, rethink the system. Why not doing this kind of system also with black soil? And just have the irrigation system. So there is no reason why this should be only hydroponic.
Because the substrates are artificial. You have to get them somewhere.
Yeah, the substrate is actually, you can also take glass wool. So you can plant a glass wool. So if you go to the grow shop, then you do your own hemp plantation, it's the same thing actually. It's, the roots just have a physical structure to stick in, and all the nutrients are provided with the liquid. But the lack of microorganisms and so on. So by many farmers it's regarded to be more simple, because you just have to mix, let's say, the chemical prepared product in the right way, and then that's the key to success. But on the other hand, taste is less. I mentioned this organic farmer in Japan. I went to the conference about sustainable water infrastructures for cities and towns in the future. 1.5 years ago in Beijing, there was one guy from Japan, and and he gave a lecture about